everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Francesca Amenduni. I come from Italy, from Bari, and I'm presenting you my thesis work. The name of this work is a redesign university course to support boundary crossing between academic and professional communities. This work was born from my personal experiences as university students, and in the Italian context, university courses are often based on theoretical knowledge, and students have a few chances to develop skills. University students need to develop generic skills important in professional context, and university context should provide the opportunity to reflect upon their professional identity and their position in the society and in the labor market. Yesterday we talked about the concept of repositioning and of identity, and to improve networking and professional skills in students, and to support the transitional processes across boundaries between academic and professional communities. At least, but not last, to emphasize to emphasize joint work with artifacts and practices. We applied a model that englobes different theories of collaborative work, all sharing a view of collaborative learning as a process of creating something new. The theoretical background is cultural psychology from Kohl, knowledge building theory from Scardamali and Bereiter, and cultural historical activity theory. And the name of this new approach is theological learning approach. This approach was born in Finland from Paavola and Akarainen, and you can see another new triangle of formulated from Paavola and Akarainen. The term theological refers to these processes where people are collaboratively and systematically developing shared concrete objects together. These objects of inquiry can be knowledge artifacts, practices, ideas, models, and representation, but understood as something concrete to be developed collaboratively. Theological learning is a way to overcome dialogical vision. Dialogical and trialogical vision are connected, but the difference is the focus. In trialogical, the focus is in the creation, co-construction of authentic, of a new object that can be concrete objects or conceptual objects. The authors of this approach formulated 6 design principles. The first is organizing activity around the shared objects. The first design principle is maybe the most important design principle. And the second is supporting integration between personal and collective agency. The third is fostering long-term processes of knowledge advancement. The fourth is emphasizing development through transformation and reflection between various forms of knowledge and practices. The fifth is cross-fertilization of various knowledge practices across community and institutions. The sixth is providing flexible tool for mediation. The context of this study is my University of Bari. The course is the course of educational and e-learning psychology. The teacher explained the theme of e-learning, blended learning, social constructivism, new trends, and so on. The course lasts 4 months, and the participants were 35 students, master's degree, 5 e-learning companies, 1 university teacher, and a group of e-learning tutors. I participated as e-learning tutor and as designer of the course, instructional designer. Now I will describe the way in which we applied the 6 design principles. The first is organizing activity around the shared objects. For this purpose, we decided to involve 5 e-learning companies, because these shared objects have to be a reusable object, an authentic object, because we need to improve long-term processes. So 5 e-learning companies introduced themselves and proposed shared objects, for example, e-books, apps for e-learning, and serious games. 7 groups were formed to build as many objects. Students can decide the company and the project plan, and they worked for 6 weeks using different digital means, interacting with the company and receiving feedback from real customers. Finally, students presented their object firstly to the class and then to real customers. Companies supported the object development in order to actually sell them. In fact, students and companies are linked. The second design principle is supporting integration between personal and collective agency. To achieve this purpose, we try to shift from individual to group dimension and vice versa. Teacher prepared, we used 3 didactical methods: jigsaw method, e-portfolio, and role taking. The first that I am describing is jigsaw. Teacher prepared educational material to be distributed individually. The collection of such material covered the content of the course. Students individually studied the material so to become an expert about a piece of knowledge similar to a puzzle piece. Students wrote individual reviews and later they discussed and combined their knowledge in group, so to reconstruct the whole content as in a puzzle. In role taking, the teacher designed a few roles, so students could cover them in turns. Example of roles are a tutor, researcher, product expert, supporter, and maps manager. I describe this role better later. And students were required to develop 2 kinds of e-portfolio. E-portfolio is a group of multimedia files, for example, picture, songs, videos, that students use to describe themselves. And students created 2 kinds of e-portfolio. A professional e-portfolio on LinkedIn and a student e-portfolio on from community. The third design principle is fostering long-term processes of knowledge advancement. Companies helped students in defining usefulness and applicability of the objects. During the object construction, company tutors answered questions and gave feedback on student work practices on professional platform LinkedIn. You can see an example of LinkedIn portfolio. Finally, companies assessed the objects and gave further feedback about how to develop the objects in the future. Along the whole course, students developed their professional network through LinkedIn. This professional network could be developed also after the end of the course, and this is social capital for students. The fourth design principle is emphasizing development through transformation and reflections. Students were provided by educational material in the format of chapters and papers. This material was transformed into individual reviews and afterwards into conceptual maps built collaboratively. This is an example of map built using Google Drive. Maybe 6 students work collaboratively to these maps. And this is a kind of shared object that students can be reused to, in the future, to repeat some of theoretical concepts present in this map. Each transformation was supported by reflective discussions via web forum. Product expert is a particular kind of role. It's a student who compares his own group product and strategy with those of the other group. This role favors reflections on weaknesses and strengths about the practices and objects under construction. The fifth design principle is cross-fertilization of various knowledge practices across communities and institutions. This is, in this study, maybe the first important design principles, because we want to study transitional processes across university communities and professional communities, and to support also identity processes. Companies describe their best work practices and invite students to follow their instructions. Companies give students a list of items to self-assess the objects during their development. Students and companies share a virtual space, LinkedIn groups, where they can discuss ideas, post articles, drafts, and so on. The sixth design principle is providing flexible tools for mediation. Now I will describe the digital means that we used. The first is forum community. Forum community is a platform in which you can organize discussions around different topics in forums. Students use the forum community to organize their work around the shared objects and to discuss their ideas, for example, for maps and so on. LinkedIn is one of the most important professional social networks. You can use it to create a professional portfolio and to develop your network. The portfolio is used also to measure the zone of proximal development, because there is a role, friends of zone of proximal development that gives feedback to each student to how develop their skills. Google Drive is a Google tool in cloud. You can use it to manage knowledge materials and to create shared objects in a collaborative way. Students use the Google Drive to create maps, to create docs, to write their project plans, to write drafts or their plans. Doodle is a tool to make surveys, and we use Padlet to support brainstorming processes. For example, students use the Padlet to decide the name of their group and the picture that represents the value of their group. In this period, we are working on data analysis, and we collect data from each portfolio at the outset, halfway, and at the end of the course. We collected data from discussion forums, and we collected data also from student questionnaire and company questionnaires. But in my work, I focused on discussion forums and the portfolio. And we combining qualitative and quantitative analysis. The first level of analysis will be content qualitative analysis. The second level of analysis will be social network analysis, And the third level of analysis is positioning network analysis. Positioning network analysis based on the theory of Hermans of positioning identity, and is a blended method of analysis because combined quantitative and qualitative aspects. I want to show you some example of shared objects. The first is an app the students create to job placement service of university. The second is an ebook created with an app EPUB editor that students created for public administration. And the third is a MOOCs, massive open online courses, that students create to teachers to develop creativity and so on. Now I'm presenting you only the data collected from questionnaire. From the company questionnaires, all the companies are willing to repeat the experience. 3 are convinced that objects could be reused in the future. 2 think that LinkedIn could be used to better know students and communicate with them. From LinkedIn ePortfolio, students triple the number of the links within their professional network, quintuple their professional skills, and greatly increase their endorsements. Endorsements are the feedback that students received from other students or from teachers, from peers, and so on. From students' questionnaire, they appreciate the improvement of their professional skills, the understanding of how digital tools can be used for professional and educational purposes, the group work, the collaboration with companies, and the construction of shared objects. So I and my teacher are writing some question for you, and these are the questions. He would like to gather a general understanding of the fact of the course, integrating all the data. How could this achieved? How the data we have collected can be further treated, how the course could be improved, what should be changed. Thank you so much.
Wow.